Okay, so I almost jumped into this in the last video, but I think, hey, let's just make a whole video of it now. So being aware of the inner environment, let's talk about the upper dante in the head space, right? Which is the part that talks to us. The inner voice that talks. The inner voice that gives you ideas of what you should and shouldn't do, what you like, what you don't like, you know, what you choose to remember, what you choose to forget. And most of the time, we're acting on automatic. You know, we're automatic pilot. We have these programs that we've sucked into our psyche over the years, usually when we're kids, and then we just act them out. And we get triggered into acting things out and triggered into specific ways of being. And sometimes that's great. Some habits are perfect habits to have. Some habits need to be shifted and changed, which can be difficult. If anybody learned to play an instrument, guitar or anything like that, and played it in a certain way that was wrong or not as efficient as it could be, when you're trying to change that, it's really hard. It requires a lot of focus. It's not impossible, but it just takes a lot of focus and focused awareness in the present moment to catch those old habits. So you've got some habits that are beneficial because we are efficiency machines, so that you're being efficient by doing these habits. You don't have to use up the brain power to think about how do I step and walk forward, you know, how do I brush my teeth in the morning, how do I drive my car and have a conversation with the passenger. These things become habitual. And again, some habits are good and some habits are bad, right? Or bad, good and bad, that's too black and white, right? I love the yin yang, right? Because there's always two sides of the same coin, and we're all about trying to unify the opposites, right? Good and bad. Let's change that, those terminologies, and go functional, dysfunctional, useful, not so useful. So I have a habit that I get triggered into, and I realize, looking back at my past history, that this isn't making me move forward and it's not helping me. So I need to change the habit. Right? Building the awareness is the first step, because without the awareness, I don't even know I'm doing things wrong, or not doing things as efficiently as I wanted to, or not getting the results that I want from the actions that I'm taking. So I build the awareness so I can start to see things going on. Okay? Now I can build awareness of my physical world, which is easier sometimes, and then I can also, at the same time, ideally if I've got a practice that does mind, body together, I can then watch the internal world. And the internal world is made up of a whole bunch of different characters. Right? The ego isn't just an I, it's a bunch of I's. Now most of us will be aware of the inner critic, and sometimes that inner critic beefs up and becomes the inner punisher. And if I'm doing something, you know, trying to learn a new move and I can't get it right, it's interesting. In fact, I would say one of the best things about this is if you can stay neutral and impartial to watch what's going on in your head. Yeah. That's what meditation practice, a lot of meditation practice is about, creating that watching awareness, that sometimes it's called the watcher, yeah? So if I'm being taught to go, you know, push my right hand forward and push it from my shoulder, and I'm doing this, yeah? Can you see there, I'm actually just moving my elbow, the shoulder's not really moving, right? Whereas if I wanted to go, that's different. Irrelevant whether that's the right or wrong move, it's all about context, right? But if I'm doing this, and my teacher comes and goes, no, you want to move from there first. And I keep doing this and he keeps going, no. I can start to watch what's going on in my head. Could be thoughts like, oh, I'm terrible at this, I'm no good at this, I'm so embarrassing, you know, I should be better than this. I've been doing this for ages, I ought to be much better than this, you know? You're shit, you're crap, you should just quit this shit. You're rubbish, just give up, yeah? Or you might have an inner coach that's like an inner supporter, something that I've kind of built on. And you can build these personalities in your head as well. You know, it's okay, you know, you haven't got it yet, but just keep on pushing, keep on pushing. What have you got right? What's the right thing that you've got in this move? Ask a question to see if that's right, yeah? Can you see how they're very different voices in your head? Right? Some people work with the whip, some people work with the carrot, right? Again, you've got to recognize how you work best. But building that awareness of what's going on, rather than trying to get the move right, which is still what I'm trying to do in terms of the goal of this scenario that I just set up, it's an opportunity for me to see what's going on in my head. And to try to accept what's going on in my head. That's the big thing, because most of us want to fix things. Oh, I want to get rid of that inner punisher. It's not doing me any good. Well, is it doing you no good? You've got to analyze that, work it out. Is it always bad? Is it always a bad thing to have that in your head? No, not really. Right, it's up to you. Decide for yourself. Right, so you're building awareness, and ideally if you've got some sort of practice that uses mind and body together, you have more of a chance to see what's going on in the mind, and it's meditative. Now often you do these sort of things fairly slowly, and that gives you a chance to do a number of things. It gives you a chance to map particular models of movement onto the mind, and it also gives the mind a chance to work it out. It allows you to feel the connection of movements going through the body, and it allows you to start to, to train your focus, to start to see what's going on in your head. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Number one thing in all of my coaching is awareness. Awareness of self, and then self-management, leading to awareness of others, and then other management. Awesome. stevebobs.com. Check out the free, let's just say freebies, couldn't I? Check out the freebies on my site, and write comments. It's all good. Connect with me if you want to excel in what you do.